everybody, and welcome to the FM Scout YouTube channel with myself, GeeW. I'm bringing you this video to tell you why I think you should choose Leeds United for your FM17 save. I'm currently using the FM16 for this video, but I'm also using the latest update, basically the latest transfers from the most recent window, and the updated divisions where relegations and promotions have occurred from last season. In this video I'm going to show you what makes Leeds a unique challenge. This includes members of the board, finances, expectations, etc, etc. So we're going to start here by showing you the Leeds transfers update, brought to us by assistant manager Joseph Clotet. Basically it's just showing who all the loanees in and out are. First I'll show you the outs. The guys in on loan we'll show as we go through the whole entire squad. But first of all, we've got Belusha here, who's a tough tackling beast of a man. On the game, I would think he's easily good enough for the Championship, no question. In real life, he's much to be desired in that regard, but I kind of guess he'll get a bit of a decrease in attributes because he was been very, very poor for Leeds in the last couple of years. Next we have Jordan Pataka, a pacey flair player who has some impressive attributes. He may become useful after his loan expires at the end of the season. And then lastly we've got Lee Irwin, who is out on loan for the season. He has some really good potential. We'll have to wait and see if he does actually reach that potential in FM17. Right, the injury report suggests that there's not going to be any injuries. I've got a massive feeling that Gaetano Berardi will be on the injury report for about a good 3 months, because that seems to be how he's been for most of the season. He played the first game of the season against QPR, but picked up an injury that's ruled him out for the last 3 months. So that's what I'm basing that theory on. Right, going on to the first team squad. Just going to highlight the key players. We're going to start with the goalkeepers. We've got Rob Green and Michael Silvestri. Rob Green, obviously an England international, famous for his cock-up at the World Cup, so I think everyone knows about him. And then we've got Silvestri, who's a talented young goalkeeper. He's very, very good at shot stopping. His communication and control of the box is a bit poor, to say the least, but in game he's not a bad keeper. Moving on to right back, and we've got Berardi and Ayling contesting that position, with Ayling most likely to be getting the starting role, more down to the chance of Berardi being injured. The only player that you can play at left back is Charlie Taylor. Well, naturally anyway. Cooper can do a job, but he's not going to be anywhere near good enough as a backup at left back. So that's probably one position you will have to look to strengthen. Centre back, you've got 3 players vying for 2 spots, if you choose to play with 2 at the back. The 2 beasts, Kyle Bartley and Pontus Jansson. The latter a real crowd favourite. At the moment, playing with true passion and desire. These 2 are both on loan for the season. And then there's Liam Cooper, who's been with Leeds a couple of years, who is more than adequate option as a third choice, for me anyway. Defensive midfielders, we've got Liam Brigcutt, the new captain. He signed permanently from Sunderland after a successful loan spell. He's a tough tackling midfielder, and is a very good option for a defensive midfield role if that's what you choose to use. Then you've got Luke Murphy, who is a decent backup. He's not the quickest, but is technically very gifted. But yeah, decent backup for this level. And the centre midfielders for Leeds, you've got mainly 5 central midfielders contesting. Well, there's as many spots as you want really, but 2 or 3 I would imagine. You've got Ewan O'Kane, Alex Mowat, Matt Grimes, Calvin Phillips and Tumani Duragaraga. And they're all going to be battling it out for a starting place, with all of them, except possibly Diagaraga, or Big Dave as some Leeds fans call him, good enough for a top half finish side. Right wing, according to Football Manager 16, Pablo Hernandez is mainly a winger, but he was signed mainly because he could play in the attacking midfielder role. So I would imagine he'll get that position as like at least accomplished on FM17. But as you can see, he could clearly do a job at right wing, at least for a season or 2, because of his age, of course. He's going to be 31 on FM17. And he is currently on loan until January with a view to a permanent move. Hadi Sakho, I expect an upgrade on this guy because he's absolutely class, just quite simply. He's just class. The only attribute I don't really expect him to get an increase is finishing, because that's the one thing that seems to be missing from his game, but he's really got everything else. Players that can play on both wings, we've got Kamar Roof and Stuart Dallas. I can play on both wings, although Roof hasn't started this season on fire, he was awesome in League 2 last season, so I think a bit of an upgrade might be on the cards. Dallas was arguably one of Leeds' best players last season and was the sole representative of Leeds United in Euro 2016, as he turned out for Northern Ireland. And finally, the strikers. We've got Chris Wood, the current New Zealand international. He's more of a target man type, so it all depends whether you want to keep that sort of player around. If you want to play with a target man, maybe he's the man to lead the line for you. And the only other notable striker really is Marcus Antonsen. Decent player, probably better than his attributes suggest, based on Football Manager 16, and he's a new signing from Kalmar FF in the Swedish leagues. And just one last thing regarding players, just keep an eye out for this lad. He might not look so good on here, in fact he looks terrible, but I would be surprised if he doesn't get an upgrade. He started at the beginning of the season and you can tell he just oozes composure. He's a good player, he's going to be class. I think he's 17 at this moment in time, so yeah, I'd be expecting like Lewis Cook sort of standards, if anyone remembers him from FM16. Looking at the rest of the club, Leeds United play at Ellen Road, which has a capacity of just over 40,000, with a grass surface, and it's undersoil heated as well, so your chances of getting games called off at home are very, very slim. As you can see, Leeds have had a massive fall from grace. If you look in the history part at the top, it was well documented, and after a bit of a resurgence, we seem to have stagnated somewhat in the Championship. Despite this, Leeds have some of the best facilities in the country. So if you wish to maybe take on a save that focuses on youth, then I think you could do that with Leeds. The chairman is the madman, more commonly known as Massimo Cellino. The finances are in a lot better position than what they used to be, but I think as Cellino spent a lot in this transfer window before you even get to buy anyone, I don't think he'll provide much cash for transfers, so it might be that you have to take a more wheeler-dealer approach, because you could be restricted. Season's expectations, we're realistically aiming for the playoffs. Massimo Cellino said to all the Leeds fans, and got them to get the season tickets this year, said if we don't get playoffs, he'll give 50% of the cost of a season ticket back to the fans, but in the way of like the next season ticket. So they won't directly get given a load of money. It'll just mean that the season tickets will cost less next season should we not get the playoffs. So I'm expecting him to aim high, at the very least a top half finish for the first season anyway. This brings us to the end of the video. In the background are a few of the tactic shapes you could employ, as I'm going to go on to say. If you have enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and subscribe to the FM Scout YouTube channel. If you wish to, you could also sub to my YouTube channel, which will be in the description below. I will be uploading FM17 content in the not so distant future, and also don't forget to follow FM Scout on Twitter as well as my own Twitter account. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.